That looks good.
I'm looking straight into the green spot, so I should be. They should be seeing me looking straight at the camera.
Please, quiet. Okay, stop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, 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 welcome in the audience, and also to the fellow across the world from me named Bob Dobbs, who we're going to be doing a program with. And Bob Dobbs is well known to many of the people in New York City that used to often meet on dark corners in the areas of Manhattan and talk about a whole lot of really important stuff that isn't in the general dialogue of the general population. And he's now ensconced within, as you can see, Hawaii. He used to be on the streets of Manhattan, and he's now in Hawaii, and he's nodding his head in affirmation of that. And his name is Bob Dobbs, and he's down as a Paramedia Ecologist, and the Magnesium Miracle, subjects that we're going to discuss in this 58-minute program. It's so good to talk to you across the airwaves, Bob.
Well, it's always great to talk to you, Harold. And we tried this a little while ago. It didn't work, so let's hope there's no buzz on this one.
Yeah, right. Now, you got earphones on. You look like something out of a movie from the Second World War time. Is that what you want? You got that image?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you the
Sky Pilot.
Yeah,
Sky
that's right.
Pilot.
Yeah, Sky Pilot, or one of the heroes from the Second World War movies and everything. But it's so good to be in touch and everything like that. Sorry, your lovely wife is not here. She's on business and so forth. But again, so good to talk to you on this Monday. Bob, how are you doing? How long have you been living in Hawaii, which must be like living in absolute paradise? We have a circle, or we have a background of vegetation that could be thought of as Hawaii-like, and everything. But it seems to me, I've never had the luxury of being in Hawaii, but it seems to me like you must be living in paradise.
I am. It's the same sunny day, about 82 degrees every day. I go to the beach almost every day, and I've been here 11 and a half years.
Wow, no wonder you're looking so good physically. Could you do your muscles like what's his name? Do it. No, both at the same time, like Atlas. My goodness. No, that's serious. Look at the biceps on that guy. My God. If nothing else, you're sure living the good life, man. I want you, Bob. I want you. We used to have a few arguments once in a while because we were talking deep stuff. Remember? We had a lot of deep stuff.
It was
Bucky Fuller. Yeah, right.
It was Bucky Fuller versus Marshall McLuhan.
That's right. Now that's a toughie there. But I want to go right now. I want to make sure we make this clear that I want you to be my friend. As we were. Remember the good old days when I was a friend? I loaned you that last $5. Remember like that, and you were really stuck. Remember that? Do you remember it? Okay, so
I remember.
With those muscles, I want you on my team. Go ahead.
July 2000 was when I first came to your place. You just interviewed me in June, and that night I re-met Ornette Coleman.
Oh God, he was great. Ornette was great.
Yeah.
He was
and I also met Giorgio Gomelski, which is an important person.
Absolutely, huge people. Yeah. And and when was it again? You remember better than I. It's all big, vague.
July 2000.
July 2000, and it's now almost what is it now?
20 years. 20 years.
Is that 20 years? It's
Just
gone
about.
by really fast, right? And you spent it among the wonders of a good deal of that in Hawaii. When did you make the move? Where were you? Were you used to live in Island?
City Island.
City Island. And we did some stuff out there in City Island, right?
Yep.
That was a nice place in its way and everything. But you moved from there to Hawaii, or did you move to somewhere else, or what?
No, to Hawaii in June 2008.
And it was from City Island?
Yes.
Well, was that a big move? Did you have a lot of stuff, as they say, like furniture
I had a big
and
library.
things? You had a big library.
Yeah, and I had to ship that up to Connecticut for a couple of years. Now I have 4,000 books. I've bought two new libraries as well as what I had. But what happened is we didn't know if we were going to stay there. So we came back on December 2008, and the day I arrived, or the next day, I can't remember, was the day Madoff got discovered.
Oh, really? Madoff,
Yeah,
really?
that day.
Yeah, really? Well, that's something to hang a memory upon. Yeah.
Many events would happen. The first time I was on Manhattan Neighborhood Network with
Yeah.
Alan Steinfeld was
Oh,
April
yeah.
14, 2007. And on that day, the dot-com crashed. So I will not be surprised if something happens today or tomorrow.
Is there a connection between your being on the air and the place crashing? Has that happened a lot in your life, or just once in a while, or does it happen with alarming regularity? Wherever you go, there used to be some guy in the comic strips who, wherever he went, everything crashed behind him. You know, were you one of those kind of guys?
Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo, that's right. That's right. I don't have the memory that you do, you know.
I know you don't, Harold.
I don't. I could never. I used to try and keep up with you. Do you remember? With
yes,
the Fundy, we'd be talking about the Fundy and Venice and a lot, and where economics got started and all these kind of deep things. And you'd be talking.
Okay, listen, Harold.
Yeah.
I would answer your question.
Okay.
The first time I call it strange synchronicity or xenochrony. It's a word from Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
And the xenochrony started in July 1976 when I was with Dave Worster in Los Angeles, and we spent a couple of days in intense dialogue. And then we found out a couple of days later that a huge earthquake happened in China with 250,000 people killed. That was the beginning when I realized I triggered off stuff. When I talk to heavy people like yourself, or lighthearted people, either way, that will trigger reverberations around the planet.
Oh, now that's something that I have a little hard time, putting into my consciousness. I'm not very much into gay, secrets.
Yeah, you're not into gay.
I'm not into all the famous things of the other realms and everything. I have a hell of a time coping with just plain old reality, not the extended
you don't do very
reality.
Well at that, Harold.
You're
lousy at that too.
I'm not that. Well, I know, but it used to be quite a trip to walk down just imagine Lower East Side, maybe walking dead night, garbage around, rats running, whatever, and we're talking deep stuff. And I'm hanging on to every word that you do because you would be spreading it out like a maestro, and you're talking a talk. And I think often you were just plain making it up. I think you were making it up out of full
I talk
cloth.
very precisely, Harold. And if you go and look at our 10 videos on your archive, and I have them on my site, we had very good, deep conversations every program.
Well, it was me. You're not going to have anything but a deep and good conversation with Channer. Yeah, that I understand. But I'm wondering about from your end. I was wondering about because I used to question because these deep things about secret things that were happening in the distant past that only people with redheaded hair or two left ears or something could get to, and had all kinds of things that made it seem absolutely making sense, and it was really sounding more like baloney. And I would have said something else
but I made it
other
real.
than baloney. I would have said something else.
I could always bring in my media ecology knowledge because Venice was the financial oligarchy between the East and West, say 1100 A.D. But the printing press changed that. The printing press changed that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Venetian oligarchy had to move first to Amsterdam in the 1500s. Then they moved to London. And they've been a major factor in the control of visual space, or what we call money, ever since.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm trying to get into my consciousness of the Lower East Side with the rats running around, and you're telling me the history of the unseen, ununderstood outside of this little circle of what the reality of the human history is in long, deep discourse. So I'm trying to get back into the thing where I'm sitting just in awe of the guru Dobbs.
Yes,
because you had this history of the economic history of the world and everything.
In June 2008, when I came out here, June 3rd, 3 months later, September 15th or so, that middle of September 2008, was when the world economy and the Phoenician oligarchy collapsed.
There you go. Now, the Phoenician, everybody in the audience are familiar with the Phoenician oligarchy. Who was the Phoenician oligarchy? Who were the heavies in the Phoenician oligarchy? Could you reel it off for a couple minutes to us? Who were the heavies at the Phoenician oligarchy? The oligarchy now is Mr. Trump, right? He's
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Trump. Now, who is the oligarchy in the Phoenician times?
I'll give you one name, two names. Pallavicini, okay?
How you made that up? Wait a minute. You made that up in honor of me. Hal is short for Harold.
No, Pal
You
is a
made
T.
that up out of whole cloth. Huh?
Pallavicini.
What?
Pal. He is in Peter.
Oh,
Pallavicini.
Pallavicini.
Okay. The Luzzattos, Luzzattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, or Mano.
Yeah.
Luzzato and Vogel. Vogel. There's three.
That sounds like
oligarchic names.
the four Marx brothers or something. Yeah.
No, I just gave you three.
Yeah.
Pallavicini,
The three Marx brothers.
Luzzatto, and Vogel.
Yeah.
Look them up.
I could try.
A person who document the nomenclature of all this is
Yeah.
very good is Lyndon LaRouche's team. They're very good on this history.
Yeah.
A lot of it's
really?
accurate, what they say.
Why would they be particularly good on this? They were an economic, input to the argumentation and everything, but I don't know whatever happened with Lyndon LaRouche.
He just died earlier this year.
Really? Okay.
At the age of 97.
Well, gosh, that's really full biography. And is the institution still functioning or not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a world empire.
Uh-huh.
They're very influential in China and
Really?
Russia.
Oh.
And yes, and the Silk Road is their economic model that LaRouche created in 1996.
Uh-huh.
And Helga LaRouche's widow is on Chinese TV all the time talking about the Silk trade route that China's building all over the world.
Right, the Silk Road is really, really, I got good friends that are in China. China's really coming on strong. You think China's destined to bypass the United States?
No, they support what they call the dragon. Now, this gets into what I'm doing, Harold.
Okay.
I now am in charge of the economy with my non-physical buddy, Ion, and Carolyn. We're in charge of new medicines. Our medicines are better than anybody else's in the world. And we also have a free energy device, which I talked to you about 20 years ago, but I didn't have it.
Stop. You're going too fast, young man. You're going too fast. You're not so young either. And you're just coming on like a young man. You slow down, old guy. Where's the cane? Where do you keep your cane? The thing to help you walk. No?
I'm on my products.
No.
I cannot die, Harold.
No.
Literally, I cannot die.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Really?
okay. It takes the first of, it's good to be in that kind of a thing like that. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we used to talk about with Among the Rats.
Yes, it was my birthday yesterday.
In the dark.
February 2nd.
Was it your birthday yesterday, really?
Yeah.
No,
James Joyce's birthday, Finnegan Wake's birthday, Ulysses' birthday, February 2nd.
Those are all your birthdays? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
the dark soul.
Happy birthday, sweet loud mouth. Happy birthday to you.
Excellent.
Applause. A little applause. I don't get any. A little applause. Yeah.
Hey, Harold, it's the other great song. We don't know where. No.
Oh, yes.
We don't know where we're
let's
going.
do it. Let's do it. On three. A one and a two and a three. We don't know where we're going, but we're on our way. We don't know where we're going, but we're here to say, Lidle, diddle, deedle, diddle, do I. We don't know where we're going, but we're on our way. Yeah. Let's hear the baritone.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that guy? Harold somebody?
That was my grandfather. My grandfather. Also, Webb Pierce had some good songs. I like.
Yes.
What did you ever get into the things like that? Webb Pierce.
Yes, I play them on my radio every week. I do.
You play Webb Pierce. You
I
Webb
play
Pierce.
Webb Pierce.
You play
play
the greatest. You play the greatest of the classical music, and you also play all what they call hillbilly music, right?
Yes, and jazz, and rock, and hip hop, and gospel, and religious music. I play opera, everything, everything.
Show me. Oh, we've done that already, haven't we? Yeah, we've done that. Yeah. Well.
What's the name of that guy in the 30s? When McLuhan had his surgery in 1967, when he woke up, it was the longest surgery in history, 22 hours. He kept having the songs, Harry Lauder, I think his name was, from the 30s in his head. Harry Lauder, your favorite singer.
Harry Lauder was one of my favorites. I was raised on Harry Lauder.
Yes.
I'm not sure. What was the song that Harry Lauder, what was it? No, we don't know where, don't we? Harry Lauder, I don't. Oh, no, I can't remember all of it, but I was raised on Harry Lauder. Yes, and it was really good, and also Webb Pierce, you know, like
right.
Yeah.
So I showed up back in New York,
and you were always on tune. You were always on tune. You were always on tune. You never sang off tune. You got a gifted voice. Have you thought about becoming a professional singer?
Yes, I used to be in Captain Beefheart's band.
How's the old captain doing now these days? You know, is he getting along?
Well, there's a new list. I'll send it to you of
By
the
all
most
means.
avant-garde albums in the world. 10 most avant-garde albums over the last.
I would
50,
really
60.
like to see that. I really would.
I will send it. And number one. They voted on Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart. Trout Mask Replica in 1969 is the most avant-garde album of all time.
Really? That's really saying a bit, because music does soothe the soul and so forth, and is a guide to the
savage breast.
The savage breast, and everything.
Savage breast of women.
And
the savage breast of women are soothed by music.
Savage breast of women? I don't remember the women in there. It's not. It is not. It is not. That's not fair. Well, anyway, it was a good old gang we had going with you and everything, and we had a lot of wanderings around the street looking for who was the guy that had the department. We would wander down. He was around 10th Street somewhere.
Oh, yeah, Neil Postman, Gerd Stern,
no.
Mark Stallman.
Mark Stallman. Remember, we were going through the streets of New York with a lantern looking for Mark Stallman, right?
An honest man. We were looking for an honest man. That was 36 West 20th.
Good grief. Where do you put your mind? How do you what do you do? Do you park your mind on the pillow or something to keep it so brisk? Don't you ever?
I have a photogenic mind for the alphabet. Numbers in the alphabet.
Have you been picked up by all the people who look for and find
idiot savants?
Not idiot savants. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now, yes, I've been part of that world.
Have you been submitted to their careful scrutiny? Do they come out with a report?
Most people yearn to get in Mensa. I got into idiot savant. Anonymous. Idiot Savants Anonymous.
I became very good, very good, a temporary, but a very good relationship with the person who was, by all the records, scientifically, and not just some baloney and everything like that, who was designated in circles that were legitimate as the smartest person in the history of the world. The smartest person in the history of the world was a friend for a couple of months and everything like that, and was a wonderful person. That was what was her? Oh my gosh! And now it's what was? Oh, I'm sorry. It'll come to me. I forgot now. But she
you
was.
Forgot your father's name. What's your father's name, Harold?
My father's name he had a grand old name, He was Harold Hudson Channer.
That's easy to remember.
Am
It's your own
Harold
name.
Hudson Channer. Yeah.
Hudson River.
Yeah, right. No, Hudson River.
Let's just focus on the important details. I am announcing on your show that we have let's make a cliche term, free energy device. It makes
free
endless
energy device. Okay.
electricity. And we're meeting with government institutions like the Department of Homeland Security. They have to check to see if we're terrorists or not, whether you can make bombs.
Are you a terrorist? Did you taken up the terrorist cause?
No, not a terrorist.
You're not. Okay.
We proved to them, we proved to the Department of Homeland Security we're not terrorists, and we're willing to put it into America.
You could have found counsel. You could have found counsel among a bevy of terrorists. I bet you would have been.
I could have, but
you
I don't.
Have been accepted.
I used to infiltrate them back in the 50s when I was with the Secret Council of 10. The Secret Council of 10.
Yeah.
I did that.
Right, and you would have been accepted at the campfire.
That's right, because I could talk their language. I looked crazy. I acted crazy. You know, a psychopath. I could do that any day.
You were. Oh, now you admit it. Now you were only acting crazy. Of course you
Look
were.
at me. I'm acting. No, I'm not.
Crazy.
I'm being sane right now.
Yeah.
Look at me. But I want to tell you that I showed up back in New York, December 12th or something, or 10th, whenever the Madoff scandal come out. I remember it was a Thursday, I'm pretty sure. And the day I land back from Maui, Madoff got exposed because the oligarchy was canceled in September 2008. You remember when Bush and Paulson and Bernanke
all
Cox,
that stuff when right. Yeah, and
I got the names. Paulson, Bernanke, Bush, and Cox. They stood on the White House lawn saying, we're in trouble. We have no backing for our international economy.
That's right.
And so they had to go socialist or TARP.
That was 08 or so. It was 18. What was the year? No, it was 08 or 18.
08, September.
08,
September
that's
18.
right. Yeah, I remember it was hell to pay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so Paulson had to admit that he had to go socialist or communist. And then they had the TARP funding, which was brought in by my associate. We have kept the economy floating until recently. We've let it go because Mr. Trump is quite a genius on these matters. There's something called the tech body, Harold, that evolved out of McLuhan's discarnate matrix. Marsh McLuhan's discarnate matrix, the movie The Matrix is based on Marsh McLuhan's work. And it's evolved into this psychopathic membrane called the tech body. Now, that's what people are going to vote for at the end of this year, in November. They're going to have the image of Trump, but it's actually the tech body, and the tech body is going to make sure that Trump wins, regardless of what the people vote. You can call it rigged voting.
Well, you just watched what happened. They just watched. He escaped the impeachment that they were trying to lay on him and everything.
Well, we know there's a lot of criticism privately, biographies on him, and not a very healthy past or rigorously honest
past. Well, there's
past.
Probably a couple of incidences in his past that could not stand.
What happened is that the Bible predicted him. And it says Trump will stand. Nothing's going to stop Trump, and Trump will create a new kind of kingdom and probably a couple of wars. Now listen to this.
A couple of
after
what?
The dust settles.
Wars?
W-A-R-S. And after the dust settles, there'll only be 28 countries left, and they'll be the new oligarchy, and I will be the center of them because I'll be the richest person because my medical products will become the new currency. Now, this is all crazy stuff, Harold, but it's all coming true.
Okay. I've long since decided there's no point in trying to say it's impossible what you say, Dobbs, because it comes true often, right? And here I haven't seen you. How long has it been since I've seen your smiling face? You look like about 15 years old. What do you eat?
I was 98 yesterday. In 1 year, I'll be 99. I'll be beginning my 100th.
Wait a minute. You're not 98 years old.
Yeah, I'm 98. But that doesn't matter. I'm timeless. I'll be here forever. I mean, in another 2,000 years, I'll be saying, well, I'm 2,000 years old. Nobody will believe me unless you're with me and on my products. You'll
Wait a
be still
minute.
there, Harold. I keep telling you to get on my products.
Station identification. You're on you're on with the Bob Dobbs that you want to begin to get a different set in your mind when Dobbs speaks, okay? I just wanted to put a little emphasis into the dialogue here. Roll, man, roll, go.
When is he taking this medication?
Was Josiane saying something?
Yeah, she says.
When are you taking this magnesium?
When do you take magnesium?
Since when?
Every day, twice a day.
Okay.
How long have you been taking it?
How long have you been taking the magnesium twice a day?
2012.
2012.
Okay.
I'd like you to forward your information to me because I'm very much interested.
Well, he can.
Well, I already did in September 2018. You were with Harold then, and I sent you the information back then.
Yeah, but she's.
I'll do it again. I'll send it to Harold and Maggie, and so Josiane can get it from you. Oh no, I got Josiane's email. I can send it to Josie.
Send it to her.
I'll send it to Josie. Yeah.
And she's
And then I want to know everything about it.
Yeah. And you could.
You look really good for you. You don't look your age at all. You look wonderful.
Right, and you see my bride of 50 years is incredible.
Yeah.
Harold has met her, but the thing is, Purdue University is studying our products and the way Carolyn does medicine, and it's proving to beat all the other magnesium products and everything else. We're going to prove all this academically.
How long have you been out on the market with the magnesium?
2012.
2012. And has there been a record kept of the results of that among the population of the world? And is it evolved?
It was
and
such a
is
good,
it printed and made available?
Record.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen to this. It was such a good record. The FDA called up Carol and says, you can't make those claims unless you're a drug. And if you're a drug, you've got to do a $1 million, billion-dollar study. So Carolyn had to take all the claims and testimonials. She had to take them off the website, and she's not allowed to say anything other than that we supplement magnesium deficiency. We're not allowed to say all the incredible things we do. We don't make any claims, but in a couple of hours, Carol will be on her Monday radio show, which Josiane should listen to or watch. There's an archive. And you'll hear her every week have incredible testimonials for very serious issues. People have been in pain for 30 years. Take our products, and it's gone within a week.
She's wonderful. I tell you that, she's really something else. She was an anchor for you in those days when we were around the Lower East Side.
Yeah, she was reasonable.
She was really reasonable among a lot of irrationality stuff going on. Right? Yeah. Do you remember?
So you go into Harold's archive, go back to September 2018, and you'll see Carol and I sitting here talking to Harold after 10 years. 2008 was the last time.
Do you
know, Harold, I was on your show.
We had millions of them with people. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we recorded like May 20th or 21st, 2008.
We got it in the record, brother.
And the next day, I went to Maui. The day after we recorded our 10th show.
Is that true? I drove you to Maui? Was it a difficult?
You inspired me. You let me have one more word to Manhattan and the world. I got it on tape, and you recorded it and broadcast it a few days later. And I was landing in Maui as you broadcast it.
I recorded it where? Did I record it in our place or your place or where? Well, our place, right? Yeah.
No,
right.
Your place. Not your home. It was at the studios.
Oh, at the studio. Yeah. Well, boy, I tell you, you got a memory. I can't remember half of that, but I do remember. I remember those early days down in the Lower East Side and stuff, walking around in the street, and all those people. And your incredible memory.
In the New Age world, which you don't like, the woo-woo world you don't like, but you're famous because you took the videotape of Jane Roberts and Seth way back in the early 70s.
Jane Roberts was a dear friend of mine. I became very friendly with Jane Roberts. I was the first one to do a television with her. And Robert Butts. Yeah, she was like, I don't believe in the spirit. She understands. I never did believe in any of that spiritual stuff ever, and I still don't, But
yeah, you don't have to
it's
believe
fun,
it, Harold.
you
You
know.
don't have to believe it.
No.
It's happening anyway.
Yeah, but
It happens all around you.
I really like Jane Roberts. She was a wonderful soul. She used to send me Christmas cards and stuff and that. And we met her with an old. Did we have the big limousine when we were with you? A big black limousine, and that was with the good friend of Allen Ginsberg. Lives uptown, lives upstate. I forget his name now. He used to hang out with me in New Paltz. His brother, his mate, friend.
Peter Orlovsky?
No, Peter Orlovsky, not him. No, it wasn't him. But it was, I forget his name. But we were friends, and we got into it.
Yes.
I like people that are sort of strange, and I knew a lot of strange people, among which one of was Dobbs. You know?
You knew
and
John Sinclair.
Sinclair, yeah, John Sinclair. I knew. Yeah, I knew. Those were all friends of mine. I was not ever into any of them, but I was friends with all these people that
you came back from
I don't
Peru.
believe in spirituality and all that stuff.
I know, but you came back from Peru in 1965, and America had changed.
God.
The Beatles been on Ed
How
Sullivan,
do you remember
and
that?
this whole scene in Detroit around John Sinclair. You joined.
Sinclair,
you were the Bohemian professor.
Well, yeah, I was, all the time, yeah. But Detroit was my hometown. He happened to be there. And there was all the stuff was going on of that time and everything, and there were all these people.
When we saw John Sinclair again, it was at Giorgio Gomelsky's.
I loved Giorgio Gomelsky. He was gorgeous. He was the best guy on music that I ever knew in terms of popular music. He made a bridge for me.
The John Bircher Society, the right-wingers of the 60s who thought rock and roll was a communist conspiracy. If one knew Giorgio Gomelsky's history, he was born in the Soviet Union in 1934. He caused every change from the Beatles to the Stones to the Yardbirds and many other groups in the 70s. He was the guy behind the promotion of groups that nobody cared for at the beginning. And they all became famous.
That's usually what the case. The people that really matter are given short shrift by all the people who put their nose up at the latest thing from the establishment, Yeah.
Right, and if you want to read a very good article about Giorgio Gomelsky.
He was on 26th Street, and he had great parties
No,
there.
24th.
Was it 24th?
West 24th.
You're right. It was 24th. Right. And he used to put on these great parties down there, and we had long conversations on music. He believed, he had a very strong understanding of movies. And who else was Ornette Coleman? He was in our building, and we had great long talks
Harold.
with Ornette Coleman.
John Strasbaugh, the editor at the New York Press at the time, did a book, Rock Till You Drop.
That's
and
right.
It's a very long article.
That was
on
with
Gomelsky.
Giorgio. We did a program with Giorgio, and he.
I saw that.
That was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like to know, Gomelsky, Strasbaugh, when New York Press went defunct with that guy, Mugger. When Mugger closed the New York Press.
I don't know anything about Mugger.
He moved. Yeah, he was the owner. And Gomelsky,
New York Press,
John moved to New York, New York Times, but I can't see where he is anymore. I don't know if he's still there. I'd like someone tell Harold, who can tell me, where's John Strasbaugh today? He needs to know what I'm doing.
I don't know that. I got contact information for him from that time when they wrote that. They wrote a book together, and we did a program. And then when he had that place on, it was 24th. Yeah. Then he had to. That was he had got. He was wonderful. He was from Europe. He had all the knowledge of the music. He knew the music of South America.
Well, that's my point.
In depth.
If John Bircher
he was
knew
a beautiful guy. Yeah, beautiful.
Listen, if John Bircher knew about Giorgio Gomelsky, they would say the communists created rock and roll and controlled it for 40 years because they would look at Gomelsky was behind every scene. He was the guy behind most scenes that came out of the rock world.
Well, you're talking about music and that. Yeah. And he was very, very human. He was very human.
What he used to say?
And and people that were struggling to get a start and everything, like he had a lot of young people want to be a great musician.
Well, he was smart in economics. He understood Louis Kelso. But he said to me,
he did
Bob,
cotton to Melso.
This is what he said to me. He said, Bob, we got to get rid of mercantilism. It's been around for 5,000 years. It's had its day. Let's get rid of mercantilism.
And I had to ask, what exactly is mercantilism, which I would do now. What was the mercantilism? I know the term from the books I've read, but I don't know what was the mercantilism that we had to get rid of.
That came in with the printing press.
Okay, that's some
500 years ago.
Okay,
that consolidated central visual space banking. Centralized money banking, and that disappeared in 1929 with the electric radio environment. And then they brought back fake economics where the people owned money. Money was now public property. We call that the welfare state. And then the digital Android meme of the 80s canceled the welfare state. Now we don't have money anymore. We don't have credit. We just have zombies who just type all day. That's the economy, typing all day. So Kelso's prediction that labor was obsolete and not a measure of wealth came true. It turned out to be typing was the action of wealth.
that whole critique of the labor theory of value. That carried what a lot of the leftists did. You know, they wanted to give labor value, but the technology was taking over the productive process, and the assets were all owned by a tiny plutocratic class.
Right,
and they owned all the assets of what was really producing. That was a big change.
People require a private identity because of literacy. Mm-hmm. And so as long as we have literacy, people will want to be almighty individuals. So they're propping up the oligarchy, which is based on singular individual ownership that is only possible under literate printing press conditions.
Well,
we don't live that way.
That all sounds pretty familiar to me. A lot of late night talks, you know, that you and I would have had walking around the streets of Lower East Side. Yeah,
we were explaining Kelso and how Bucky Fuller and Marsh McLuhan validated Kelso.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that would have been. Kelso was something else. It hasn't been able to take hold. It's still just the same old people in control, you know. It's not
because they're not in control, Harold. They don't have control. That's why Trump was able to take over, and then the tech body took over Trump. And there's no human in control other than me.
It only happened yesterday. Wait a minute. It only happened yesterday to Mr. Trump. So let's just take a minute or two to deal with something that only just happened. We get you finally, instead of something that happened 1,000 years ago, something that happened yesterday. You know, so that we can be in on the modern movement and everything. What is that about the body or something with Mr. T, Mr. Trump? What did you talk about, Mr. Trump? Talk about Mr. Trump. He's just emerging larger than life, you know, on the world scale.
The fundamentalist Christians like to quote the Book of Revelation or one of those chapters where it says, the last trumpet will stand. Now, my buddy Ion, which is the spiritual force in charge of the situation today, says that's true. Trump will stand, but it's not a Christian Trump. It's not a Christian Trump. And the thing is that Trump, he took the fact that M1 and M2 were being controlled.
Those are money terms.
So he released M1 and M2, especially the illegal dope money, and he allowed it to come into the states without it being taxed, all that underground black market money. And that's what's circulating around the world economy now, these trillions that are free to circulate. And the amazing miracle is it's not inflationary nor deflationary because money is so obsolete. And McLuhan used to say, if something's obsolete, there's a lot of it. When the printing press came in, there was a lot of handwriting. That's an old technology.
That is true.
So now
there's
a lot of paper money or digital currency around in the global membrane circulating that is not measured, and so therefore it can be extremely abundant. And that's what keeps Trump's economy going, and it's controlled by the tech body, which is a confluence of Bucky Fuller, Marsh McLuhan, and Kelso technologically. That's what the tech body is.
Well, that's That's including an awful lot into.
Short words.
That's beyond my understanding. I mean, because those things were all independent things that I was thinking about, but I didn't get an overriding thing like you seem to have done.
Yes, you need
about the tech body. I don't know that.
series, an
Yeah.
economic series. You have me on once a month, and I'll explain in detail. We'll
I don't
stop
think
joking.
I could take
We'll
it
get
for
serious.
once a month.
You can
Let's
take
cut
it.
it
Put
down to
on
once a
Josiana.
year.
Put on Maggie.
Yeah.
Put on John Strasbo. Somebody who can respond to me, because I'm actually taking over in many levels right now.
God, you were taking over when we were walking around down on the Lower East Side. You were really. It was called ego then. It was called, but we don't want to use that ugly word, right? No, it's vision now. It's vision. Yeah, I'm just playing with it.
It's actual reality.
Yeah.
Why did Don Trump come to Atlanta and say to my business partner, "How's Carolyn doing?"
Who's Don Trump? Oh, that's the son of him or something?
President Donald Trump. No, President Don J. Trump. Okay, he came to Atlanta on November 8th, 2019, to meet with my business partner. And when they met, with a lot of lights and recording going on, so they couldn't talk too detailed. So all Donald Trump said to my friend was, he said, "How's Carolyn's work going?" Because Donald Trump is on our product. That's
well, he might be taking the what does she use? What is that again? She uses
Remake.
No, not that. The drug, the thing.
Yeah, RNA drops.
No, your thing, magnesium. See, magnesium's a heavy. Yeah, but there's quite a few people on it. Well, I don't know. I can't explain that at all because I just don't know. But anyway.
But you don't need to explain it, Harold.
Okay.
You're a leftover from the print era.
Right.
You still think in left hemisphere terms. You like right hemisphere eccentricity, but at basic fact, you're kind of a scientist, an economist, and you are always limited to that hardware view of reality.
I guess that's true, yeah. I would like to have called it being an intellectual. But that's another thing, Another thing is a little more measured. A little more measured than flights of fancy about things that are only understood by three people.
My flights of fancy lead to wealth. I'm a millionaire.
Well,
you're not.
Well, that is true. That is true. I am not a millionaire.
I sell my flights of fantasy. I turn them into actual objects and environments. And they affect everything in the world.
How are you affecting the world these days now and everything? We got about 10 minutes left, but how are you affecting the world beyond yourself in Hawaii? How are you affecting the world?
The coronavirus.
What do you take credit for in the world? Do you take credit for the victory of Mr. Trump in the presidential impeachment business? Do you take credit for credit?
A tech body put Trump in November 2016. The tech
explain,
body put Trump in and keeps Trump impervious, and Trump will win again and will go on to become a king and bring in the post-war world, the post-Mary McLuhan world of 28 countries or oligarchies.
Wait a minute, now you're getting way out of the course. I was just asking. I was just asking you to slow down a little bit and everything.
I do talk slowly.
You do not slow down. No slowing down here, right? Well,
yes, but it's being recorded, Harold. People can re-listen. You keep thinking that it has to be understood right when it's broadcast. No, you re-watch the recording. I make stuff in depth, in detail, because people can take the time to re-listen.
Do you have a presence in the media, or a steady presence in the media? Do you have a radio show that goes around the world, or a television program?
I have 2 radio shows, Tuesday and Saturday.
Why radio?
And
Why
the
not
Saturday show goes 12 hours.
Oh, my God, 12 hours of Dobbs. Ladies and gentlemen, we're selling tickets to listen to 12 hours of Dobbs going on and on and on. And with the bodies of he's got in his thing. Well, it's really fun talking to you and everything. We used to talk like this all the time and everything.
Yes.
And I'm very mundane compared to the Dobbs treatment. Yeah, right. And I'm glad everything's going so well with Carolyn and you. Yeah.
Every one of your guests should listen to me. Doug Rushkoff, Mark Stallman.
Doug Rushkoff's a bright guy.
Seth Seth Farber. Remember him, the psychiatrist?
Yeah, he's great. He's very, very good. I've been in touch with him recently. Yeah, everybody's sort of at loose ends, though. They would want to understand. Your audience is probably ripe for increased input to the people of the world. Why are you not doing television, or are you doing television? That's the way of most communication.
I do. I'm on Vimeo, and
What
I've
is
made 100 videos with Roxanne over in Berlin. The Rox, R-O-X, or Roxy, R-X-Y.
Who's Roxanne?
She's a Mexican princess who ended up in Berlin in 1994 and rose up in the electric composing world. She was a genius kid, and now she works with me and makes and edits my videos, and that's what I've sent you.
How many videos have you put out into the world now, and what do they consist of? Is there an index of them and that kind of stuff? Or talk to about your video output. Video, not audio. Yeah.
You go to Vimeo.com, and it's called Paranoiac Media, or Paranoiac or something.
Yeah.
And at Vimeo.com, and there's about 100 videos, and it includes my travels throughout Europe, dialogues with me, very personal details of the last 5 years and how we took over, how Carol and I took over the world economy with ION, and how we are manifesting and coming forth. That's why I welcome your channel. It's good to broadcast into Manhattan. Now, I know the reason there was a buzz on the last one we did a couple of months ago was ION said, Bob, you can't say what you're saying yet. You have to wait a couple of months. So I waited for you to call me back, and now there should be no buzz, and Manhattan can hear what I'm declaring.
Yay, hallelujah. Finally, the recovery of Bob Dobbs in person. Yes. Okay. Well,
so I do a 12-hour show with Ion and Carolyn, and it's incredible. I also play a lot of music, which is
are you
joyful.
Making music, and what instruments are you using for making music? Are you doing multimedia or what? I mean, music.
Yes, I play the radio.
You play the radio. That's a good instrument.
And
Yeah.
Broadcast.
Yeah.
I broadcast the content of radio from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mixed media. It's Finnegan's Wake.
That's a pretty good source too, Mr. Fluid.
Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah.
Well, James Joyce, I've had many conversations with him, and
James
since
Joyce.
he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can.
Wait a minute. Wait, you had conversations with him since he died. You have conversations with people who have passed.
Yes,
Tim Lavery, into a whole nother realm. That's a whole nother realm. That's really interesting. How did that happen? When did it happen? What were the terms by which that came to be characteristic of your consciousness and perception?
The first one was in 1995 in January. There was a man named Michael Blake Reed who channeled 6,500 entities called the Evergreens. And I would get together with him, and he would record me talking to whatever person came through the Evergreens. And we played them on your September 2000 show, my second time with you, with Frank from Barcelona. And remember, he had a New Age show.
Frank, you mean Frank Petricolo?
Yeah.
Frank Petricolo.
He had long black hair.
I know. He was in Spain or something, you said?
That's where he was from.
I didn't know he was Italian, I think. But never mind. Go ahead, talk.
No, not Frank. Okay, not Frank particular. It has to be a Spanish name.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, he had a show, and
I
I can send you my videos of us, and you can see Frank. And remember, I'll send you the videos we did, the 10 videos, so you can see all that we did. But one of them, we played your Jane Roberts video, and then we played some Evergreens.
Yeah.
Michael Blake Reed channeling Evergreens.
Why would you play Jane Roberts' video?
You did. Why would you? No, because it was about New Age stuff. Frank was a New Age.
But I never took any counsel about that meaning anything, and I used to joke with it about Jane Roberts. She was my friend. We would joke about these people who were making a big thing out of.
She became
that's
famous.
All baloney. More and large.
I know, but you did tape her, and people can look at it. She looks like a ridiculous person.
Yeah, people take baloney.
Babbling on the bed.
No, but she's very smart. She was a very good person. Very good person.
Right, and she would channel.
What are you trying to say? Something?
Is he going to show that little clip?
Are you going to show? Do you have a clip?
Oh yes. Okay, let's bring up the clip.
Show it. Good. Okay.
Thank you, Josiane, for reminding me. So
we got about 5. We got about 10 minutes.
Just click on it, right? I just click on it. It'll come through.
It's going to come on the screen. Okay.
There it is. Should you see a stained glass window? Do you see that?
No, we don't. We just still see the same thing.
Oh, there it is.
Well, okay, I'm still looking in great anticipation, but I don't see it yet, Bobby. I don't see it. I'm sure it's there if you say it is. Well, good effort.
Maybe you have to share it. I'm not sure.
She suggested you maybe have to share it, whatever that means.
Okay. Let's share.
Some mixing of channels or something.
Let's see. How would you share it? Yes, I don't know how to do that right at the moment.
Wait a minute. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. There's something that Bob Dobbs doesn't know what to do. Stop the presses in Canada. Stop it in the United States. In China.
It's on my screen. It's on my screen. It seems to be working. You guys don't see it.
No, we don't see it. No, it doesn't seem to be working. And look, we don't see it, Bob. We don't look. Keep looking like that, Bob. Keep that look on your face. Keep looking. Keeping that look on your face as you say all these wondrous things, and everything.
Yeah. How do you share it?
Listen, Bob. We ought to be in touch with one another. Okay, going ahead, and this can work out. We ought to continue. How I can't be in touch with you. I don't have. Do you think? Have you got your video set up in your house? You're at your house.
Yes.
You're in your house now. Well,
Yeah.
Did you set it up? Did you
yes,
set
the
up
video's there.
Did you set up the YouTube and everything?
Yeah.
You
No,
did.
it's sitting there.
And was it
I'm
hard to
playing
do?
it.
Was it hard to do? I'm anxious.
No, I don't know.
I'm anxious to set up in my home because I'm getting arthritis that bugs me. I'm only 86, okay? So I'm still a youngster, but I'm getting to be sidelined by arthritis.
Hey, listen, Harold. Let's don't have to hear it, but you can hear this. Can't you hear this?
No, we can't hear anything.
That?
No.
Listen.
No, we just hear a click. You just do a click. All you hear is the click.
Okay, so we'll have to figure it out. Anyways,
so the
let's
question
get
is,
back on topic.
you've got it together to be able to do Skype. Do you use Skype a lot with people all over the world to be in touch with them from your place in Hawaii?
Yes, I make my videos with Roxy on Skype.
Is it hard for you to have the equipment in your home by which you can do Skype? No, is it possible for anybody to be able to do that within a reasonable budget and so forth? They don't have to have millions of dollars or any special thing?
No, it's free, Harold.
It is free, but no, you have to have equipment. You have to have equipment to do it, right? Is it real complicated, or can it be done by anybody?
I don't know about a live
not only of
broadcast.
knowledge, but of
who knows? Who gives a fuck about it?
Me,
I don't care.
I do.
We're here talking. I'm trying to impart new knowledge to you, Harold. Now,
Bob, I've got buckets full of knowledge of Bob Dobbs. I'm telling you, it's all my mind is full of Bob Dobbs. There's nothing else but Bob Dobbs.
Should be.
I think
you could get over your arthritis.
I don't think you should be so constrained in your ego. I think you ought to be a little bit more expressive. Don't be all hidden and paranoid about the world. Go out and put yourself out there for the world to be able to, you know what I'm trying to. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, Bob, become a little more expressive.
You're not understanding people. He's not understanding me. I broadcast twice a week. And if you, after the 12-hour show, I stay on the air, it's not broadcast, but you can call into the conference call for another 5 hours. On Saturday night, I was on the radio for 17 hours, Harold. So I was putting myself out there.
Why would you be on the radio for 17 hours to do what?
Because my buddy Ion has a lot to say. I've recorded 22,000 hours with Ion. And it's the most wise, most funny commentary in the world. Plus, new knowledge is always being exhibited through Ion's mouth.
Listen, listen, I want to know, do you, maybe it's just by accident. It often happens that way. It isn't always thought. But do you manage to make a buck at what you do?
I became a millionaire at what I do. I'm now working towards a billionaire.
A billionaire. You used to talk about that back in the days of George Michalowski, that you were then a billionaire, or that you were, and you had a thing about
I stole that money.
I know you.
Now
I thought you were a
legitimate.
thief of the highest order. I like thieves, a lot of them, with their consciousness and everything. They're going to take something and not playing. That kind of stuff. And believe me, I'm all in favor of you, because we go way, way back to those early days back there with McLaughlin, with all those people. And it's so good to see. And you're looking great, man. And you're certainly rated on top of things. So I think more people ought to. How can people be put in touch with you? What would they do to be in touch with you in their little whatever they have in their living room or something? Could they use their equipment that they might have simple stuff to be able to tune in to the Dobbs?
All they have to do.
Could we call you the Dobbs?
Listen to this: 602-666-6027 on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and they can be on the air with me personally. If they want to talk to me, they would email at purple@fivebody.com, which Joanne, what's her name? Jody.
Josiane, that's French. She's from France.
Josiane.
She's from France, right. That's good.
Yes.
Okay.
I was born in France.
Yeah.
I was born in 1922 in Paris, just outside. You know the TV show Downton Abbey?
Yeah, sure.
That's exactly my life.
Yeah, but that was a family of high standing in the French
That's
culture.
who I worked with. I worked with the prior.
Butler. You were a butler. No, wait a minute. You were a butler. You were a butler.
No, my father was the head butler.
You had a butler in your life.
But after World War I, the oligarchies had collapsed. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire collapsed. So they had to bring their relatives and their butlers into the intelligence service. That's how I met Reinhard Gehlen and Fritz Kramer and everybody else you ever heard of.
Again.
And Shackley.
Yeah. Wow.
Theodore Shackley. These are big names. You're people in Manhattan. No, I'm saying significant names when I say Fritz Kramer and Theodore Shackley.
Yes, indeed. But we have to let you know, we've only got a couple minutes left, and I would just want to say, so good to be in touch with you. And I personally want to be in touch with you, and I know how to get it. I'm trying to get myself to where I can do some Skyping from my home, and we could do it more often. But I'm way, way, way down the line in terms of your ability to communicate, particularly in all these esoteric mediums that are out there that you are very familiar with. You always have, and you've still got it in your head and consciousness, and I congratulate you for the world in which you walk. And which you walk and live.
We'll get Clinton Ignatoff to help you set up your Skype.
How are you in touch with Clinton?
I introduced him to you.
Was it you who got Clinton to me? I wondered where Clinton came from. He's a young man with up in Ontario. Okay, that's
Clinton's
it.
Main
Here
mentor.
come the graphic.
I'm his guru.
Here comes
Clinton learns everything from me.
Clinton,
I inspired him.
Clinton's a great guy. Yeah, young fellow.
Guy.
Okay, Bob Dobbs, old friend, Paramedia, and everybody's ought to be in touch with him. It's really good to talk to you, Bob. It remembers the old days and everything like that. And so thanks a lot for carrying on in such a good way. Give our very best to Carolyn, and what she was always so calm. And she had a product, calm. That was really interesting. She was calm. Now, he's ranting and crazy about this, and she was just like in the eye of the storm, so conscious. And so thank God for Carolyn, right?
She has lived in the eye of the Bob storm for 54 years.
Poor thing, poor lady. We send our great
sympathy.
Our sympathy. Yeah. Okay, that's it. We got to close down. This is the end of the hour in this way of having a regular program. It'll be aired in New York soon. We'll let you know. Okay.
And everybody re-listen to it, because we talk over each other. But if you listen closely, you can make out what we're saying.
Yeah.